Everyone, it looks like we are on time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We are so excited for this webinar today. We had tons of people sign up, lots of excitement for this webinar. So we are so excited that Wednesday has arrived and it's time to go to Italy. So we're so pumped. So first, just want to welcome you to this webinar hosted by Travefy Academy with our amazing guests, Kimberly Radelli from Luxury Italian Tours and Marcello Giancoli from Benarrivati. So we're so excited for their presentations here today. I think they're going to blow you away. But first, I do just want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Stephanie Grice, and I am the Senior Client Champion and Education Coordinator here at Travefy. And I will introduce our amazing guests in just a minute. But I do want to give a quick plug on what Travefy Academy is. So if this is your first webinar with us, welcome. We're excited to have you if you're familiar already, but just to kind of tell you a little bit about what to expect in today's webinar. So Travefy partners with experts across the travel industry to provide these free educational webinars through Travefy Academy. And these webinars are not commercial in nature to promote those organizations, or nor does Travefy ever accept compensation for these partnerships. So Travefy Academy exists to provide these powerful educational experiences and really just fulfill our mission to help power the success of travel professionals. So this webinar here today will not walk you through the software of Travefy, but instead what we're going to do is focus on the travel industry and really talk about how to accelerate your travel business. And in this case here today, how to sell travel to Italy, and just learning more about it so you can talk about it with your clients and start booking more trips. So really our hope for Travefy Academy as a whole is really just to be a resource for travel advisors from a wide range of perspective and different experience levels like you'll find in today's webinar. So to also give you a little bit of webinar housekeeping here, so I do want to mention that there is a question area. So there's a question box area. So when you do have questions, put them in there. We will reserve time at the end to go over questions and ask Kimberly and Marcello those questions. So when you think of something, put it in there. I'll be watching for them and gathering those as well. The other thing to mention too is that this webinar is being recorded. So if you get a client call and you got to hop out, that's okay. After this webinar, we'll send you an email that'll have a link to this recording. And then also you can send it to any friends or colleagues that might have missed it as well. But then it's also important to note that if you go to academy.travefy.com, you can also find all the recordings as well as additional information there as well. So the moment we've all been waiting for, now that I told you everything about everything there, now I want to introduce our guests, and I'll start with Kimberly. So Kimberly Radelli's passion for Italy began 3 decades ago when she first visited Italy during her studies in Siena and Florence. Since then, she's traveled extensively throughout Italy, amassing local contacts in most regions. During her numerous visits, she experienced an authentic side of Italy, which was not being offered by group tour companies. So that's when she started Luxury Italian Tours nearly a decade ago. So the company's growth also led to the launches of Luxury Italian Honeymoons, Luxury Italian Wine Tours, and Luxury Italian Villas. Kimberly is also passionate about Italian wine and was named an Italian wine ambassador by Vinitaly University in Verona, where she completed her coursework, which sounds amazing. Who doesn't love that Italian wine? And then to also introduce our other guest here is Marcello Giancoli. So Marcello is the co-owner and CEO Americas of Benarrivati, Italy. So a luxury Italian DMC with headquarters in Rome and offices in Florida and Sao Paulo. Marcello has extensive experience and background in the financial markets and the travel industry, and is responsible for Benarrivati in the United States. So Marcello has visited every corner of Italy and met personally with all collaborators, hotels, and tested all services provided by his company. So the attention to details of services provided by Benarrivati and the use of technology are the responsibilities that he oversees. So as you can see with both of those introductions, we are going to learn so much here today. So Marcello and Kimberly, I just want to say thanks for being here today, and thanks for taking time to chat with all of us.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one thing that we wanted to do really quickly here too is we kind of wanted to know what the audience was, if you've been to Italy or if you have sent clients there. So we're going to do a little bit of a poll here really quick. So the first poll that I'm launching right now, so you should see this on your screen, is have you traveled to Italy before? So let's see. So it looks like so far many are yes. So it looks like, okay, so we're about 75% there. So we have 72% yes, 28% no. This is very interesting. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close that poll because it looks like it balanced out pretty easily there. So it looks like for the most part, 70% yes and 30% no. So now for the next question that we want to ask is, have you sent any clients to Italy? So here's the next poll here. I wish I had the little music like Jeopardy. Let's pretend it's going. Oh, wow. So a lot have sent. So far, we're already about 75% voted. 85% have sent clients to Italy. 15% have not. So a lot of you have. Italy is a popular place, gotta say. Gotta admit that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that poll. That's very interesting. Here, I'll share those results too. So there we go. That is, so a lot of you have sent clients to Italy. So with that being said, I think that tells us that there is a lot to learn, a lot to gain here today. We're so excited. I'm going to let Marcello kick off the presentation. And then once again, everyone, ask those questions in that question box as you think of them as well. So Marcello, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thanks everybody for attending today. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for Travefy for organizing this. Well, we could spend hours talking about Italy for sure, but we don't have that much time. So what I'm trying to cover today is a little bit of the most popular Italian regions, and then talk about my favorite things of those regions, and discuss a little bit like the challenges that you might face booking a specific region in Italy. As you know, it's a popular destination. It's a big country, so you want to make sure that your client is welcome everywhere they go. So let's start. The first region we're going to talk about. Okay, let's go to Valle d'Aosta. For those who don't know, Valle d'Aosta is located right north of Turin and west of Milan, and it makes border with Switzerland, and it's a really popular destination for skiing. And since we passed the summer vacations already, so now is a good time to talk about. Actually, we're a little bit late already, but we can talk about winter trips. And this is an amazing place to be, by the mountains, and the scenery is just gorgeous. So it's definitely a region to visit, and not so much explored by tourists, like only like Italians and locals. They usually go during winter time. It's also beautiful during summertime. Then we move to Veneto. I'm sure all of you know about Veneto, and of course, Venice, one of the most popular destination, and really crowded place. The city is being discussing a few options to avoid the big cruise lines and everything, so the city is not as crowded. But it's a beautiful place to visit. I would definitely point out Verona and the Lake Garda region as one of my favorites. We talk about the Valpolicella wine, the Amarone wine. I mean, that place is just amazing. Verona is just a charming city with amazing restaurants. And one of the places that I really like as well in Veneto region is a city called Bassano del Grappa. I'm sure you heard of the grappa drink, and that's the place that they make the best grappa of Italy, in my opinion. That comes from the Poli grappa, and of course, home of the good wines and the Prosecco wine. This is where the Prosecco wine is made, in the Veneto region. Then we go back to the west side and to the Piedmont. And Kimberly is pretty knowledgeable about the wines, and I'm sure she knows a lot about the Piedmont wines. My favorite is the Barolo, of course, but I can't point enough things about the region. Best time to visit, in my opinion, is end of October, beginning of November. That's where the truffle, the white truffle season kicks off, and you can do truffle hunting. You can experience, I mean, amazing weather. Best hotels, in my opinion, the Il Boscareto or the Rialto Maurizio. Those are like amazing places. If you want to do a car rental here in this region, that's perfect. It's easy to drive. You can go to the countryside, or you can go to the big city of Turin, which was once the capital of Italy. And of course, it's close to the mountain. You can see some pictures here. I wish I had more time to explore all the things that we can offer there. I mean the country. So Lombardy, it's where Milan is located. So this region is also, that's where Lake Como is. And Lake Como is one of the main destinations of the region. We talk about Milan. Milan is a city that is growing so much and it's so ahead of the other cities of Italy. It's the financial capital of Italy, and you will find amazing hotels, amazing restaurants, and a lot of activities. Right next to Milano, there is a city that I like a lot, that I recommend you visit, or you offer your clients, is the city of Bergamo. Bergamo is divided by two parts. One is like we call the down part, like the level part, and then we call the Bergamo Alto, or the high Bergamo. And it's just an amazing way to spend a day if you're staying in Milan. And I think it's about an hour drive from Milan, so I really recommend that. So moving a little bit south of Milan, you will find the Ligurian region. So this is where the Cinque Terre is located. Cinque Terre is composed by the 5 small villages, but the whole coast is just like an amazing place to be. It's just beautiful, and this is where, like, it's close to Genoa. Genoa is it's famous for the pesto sauce, or we call the pesto Genovese. But the Cinque Terre is it's being very popular in the past few years, and I recommend, if you don't want to stay within the villages because there are not like nice so nice hotels, no 5 stars hotels, you can either stay south of Cinque Terre in a city called La Spezia, and there is a hotel there called the Porto Venere, which is a nice 5-star hotel. Or my recommendation would be to stay north of Cinque Terre, about 45 minutes north, in a city called Santa Margherita Liguri, which is neighbor to Portofino. If you have the budget, of course, Portofino is the place to be. But if you want like a little bit of a bigger city with more options of hotels, Santa Margherita is just is. I mean, it's a great city to be. You are 45 minutes from the villages. You are close to Portofino, and the parking is a little bit easier, which I'm sure you all know that is a big challenge throughout the whole country. Now, moving east of Liguria, we go to Emilia Romagna, and this is the place for the best food of Italy by far. The best products are made here, and to name a few, we say the Parmigiano cheese, the balsamic vinegar, the prosciutto di Parma. They all come from this region, and of course, Maranello, the Ferrari factory. Bologna, the city of Bologna it's an amazing city to stay for a few nights as well. And in Modena, it's located the #1 restaurant of the world that is called Osteria Francescana. Very hard to get reservations, so please, you need at least 6 months in advance to book it. And then comes Tuscany, which is the most popular region of Italy by far. This is the place everybody wants to go, and you can go like plenty of times, and you have a few things left to see. You can stay based in Florence, and they take day trips to the countryside, visit Siena, San Gimignano, Volterra, Cortona. I mean, there are so many nice cities to spend the day. Or you can stay, some people like to stay in the countryside and then take a day trip to Florence, which is also nice as well. I would say a car rental here, it is recommended because, you know, you have the flexibility to travel around and enjoy at your own pace and save some money. Or you can use a private driver services because, you know, you're going to drink, you want to enjoy your day. But the other thing I want to say about Tuscany, like some people don't know, is that the coast side of Tuscany, it is a must do. So if you plan to go on a coastal city, you don't have to travel south to the Amalfi Coast or north to the Ligurian coast. You can just visit the Tuscan coast, and you'll find cities like Punta Ala, Castiglione della Pescaia, Forte dei Marmi. Those are just amazing places to be, and I definitely recommend you looking at it. Then we move west again, a little bit west to Umbria. My favorite city in Umbria is by far Assisi. It's a small town, very charming, great place to spend a day. Perugia, located just north, is it's where one of the best chocolate is of Italy, and also Umbria is home of a lot of truffle and truffle hunting experiences. Well, we come central Italy to Lazio, where Rome is located. So, you know, there's enough, I can't say enough things about Rome. This is our, you know, home and the place of the best dishes you can find in Italy. You know, the cacio e pepe, the carbonara, and all of you know, the best things you can find in Italy, and the history, of course. You can spend days, weeks, or months in Rome and still have a lot to see. So if you have seen enough of Rome, maybe a trip to the coastal side as well, or, you know, the places like Frascati for the wine, or if you want to see where the Pope spends the weekend, that's like things to do around Rome. Then we move south to Campagna, where Amalfi Coast is. And then we talk about Sorrento, Positano, the pizza from Naples, a lot of experiences, a lot of scenery here, things to see and do. If you have been to Amalfi Coast, maybe you want to try something new. Maybe you want to visit Ischia, which is another island just north of Capri that is as gorgeous and half price of of accommodations. And the must do here, in my opinion, is spend a day on a boat, and don't try to visit the Amalfi Coast cities in one day with a car, especially during summertime, because you're not going to be able to see anything. You're going to spend most of your time inside the car. They're not exploring the city. So I recommend, like, you take one day to visit Positano, one day to visit Sorrento, and so on, or get a boat to spend the day, and you can navigate throughout the Amalfi Coast with a boat and visit Capri. And the same goes to the Cinque Terre, you know, going back a little bit. Another way to spend to explore the Cinque Terre is by boat, and you can take a boat and then visit the 5 villages. Now, moving forward to Basilicata, that's where Matera is located. Matera it's a very interesting city, and I definitely recommend you spend a day or two there. A lot of history, and right south of Matera, there is a nice hotel called Palazzo Margherita that it's owned by Francis Ford Coppola, and it's a gorgeous place to stay for a few days. And also, Basilicata is home of Alberobello, you know, where the Trulli houses is. It's an interesting city to visit for a day as well. You can do a lot of experiences, mozzarella, and you name it, bike tours, everything there. And then we move to Puglia. Puglia has been growing for the past 10 years a lot, and you see amazing hotels being built, 5 star properties that is just, you know, out of this world. To mention a few, Borgo Enazzia, Mazzeria, Torre Mazzia. I mean, cities like Lecce, Gallipoli, even Bari for the history. I recommend at least like 7 nights in Puglia, so you can explore the whole region. You can go south, you know, to Lecce, to Leuca, Gallipoli, or north to Bari, to Pollino Mare, and spend the day maybe exploring the caves or doing wine tastings. The wines, they're amazing. Puglia is what we call the garden of Italy, because I think it's 60 or 70% of the olive oils produced in Italy, they come from the olive trees of Puglia. So believe it or not, it is the best olive oil of Italy, in my humble opinion. Now, the next region that is going to pop up a lot and be very popular, in my opinion, as well, is Calabria. City called Tropea. It's one of the most beautiful beach towns of Italy. There is a hotel called Palazzo Motola that is the one I recommend staying. The region is still developing, so it lacks a lot of infrastructure. But if you go to Tropea, for example, you have some nice things to do, and you have an amazing time in Calabria. And then off to the island of Sicily. And again, if you want to explore Sicily, I would recommend at least 8 nights. There's so many things to see in Sicily. Sicily is, it provides a different culture, different architecture. So you want to take your time. You want to taste the food of Palermo. You want to visit the beaches of Taormina. You want to visit the small towns of Siracusa, Ragusa, San Vito lo Capo, Cefalù, Agrigento. I mean, there are amazing things to do in Sicily. So take your time. If you want to drive, that's fine. It's easy to drive. Just try to avoid the city centers, because you can get a ticket throughout the whole country. I mean, like, once you have a car rental, try to park outside the city center and then walking. Otherwise, once you're back home, you will receive a ticket on the mail. All right. So, and the last one, but not least, is Sardinia, which is the place to relax, enjoy the most clear waters of Italy by far. You need to get a boat and visit the Archipelago della Maddalena. And you want to stay in Porto Cervo, which is one of the best regions of Sardinia. So I think
Awesome.
that covers my part. Thank you so much. I pass now the presentation to Kimberly, and thank you all.
Yes, thank you so much. I am sharing my screen here really quick for Kimberly. So, Kimberly, I have that in. Yeah, we got lots of great questions in there for you, Marcello. So they're coming your way after this. So, Kimberly, I will let you start going now, and then I'll do your slides over here on my end.
Stephanie, thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you, Travefy, for allowing both of us to participate. Marcello, you gave a wonderful overview of Italy. I hope to focus a little more on specific experiences and regions that are really gaining popularity, to give you all ideas to keep sending your clients to Italy. So, Stephanie, you can go to the next slide.
Let me get there here. There we go.
So Luxury Italian Tours designs custom trips for our clients based on their specific interests. We don't book any FIT trips. We work directly with our suppliers to really ensure a seamless process. So like Marcello, I have been traveling to Italy for the past 3 decades. I go several times a year to really meet with all of our vendors, visit the hotels. There's so many new ones popping up all the time. And just to make sure that our favorites are still our favorites, and we're still keeping our clients happy and still ensuring that same level of service that we are used to. Some of our other brands, as Stephanie introduced, is Luxury Italian Tours is our flagship, but we also run Luxury Italian Honeymoons, Luxury Italian Wine Tours, and Luxury Italian Villas. And what I love about Italy is, Stephanie, you can go to the next slide, is that Italy is so diverse. And I think you got that from Marcello's presentation. So everyone loves Italy, and really what's not to love? You've got mountains, beaches, amazing culture, delicious food, wine, islands. You can really be sending your clients to Italy over and over again. I have been traveling there for decades, and every time I go, there is just yet a new experience. a new town, something different to explore. So it's no surprise that Italy is the fifth most visited international city. Visitors spend almost $40 billion in 2017. So we should capture some of that business because Italy really has it all, and you can really be sending your clients there multiple times. So some of the classic itineraries, Stephanie, next slide, please. Thank you. Is Rome, Florence, and Venice, the most popular art cities. This is an itinerary that you can spend 7 to 10 days arranging for your clients. This is definitely a great first-time trip for your clients. The Vatican, the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum in Rome are must-sees. In Florence, you've got Michelangelo's Statue of David, the Ponte Vecchio, the Duomo are musts. And in Venice, of course, San Marcos and riding, a gondola ride is of course what many of our first-time clients love to do in those three cities. But since we only specialize in Italy and we have clients come, back to these cities, we like to offer yet a different experience. So the next slide really talks about the classic cities revisited. We love the upper left photo, as if everyone can see that is Villa Farnesina in Rome. As I said, everyone flocks to the Vatican. More than 30,000 visitors go there daily, but these are beautiful frescoes by Michelangelo in a villa in Trastevere that a lot of people just overlook. So for that second time that you're visiting Rome, you can send your visitors there. We love Orvieto, that is just an hour away from Rome. Going to Bologna as a day trip from Florence, or Lucca. There are just so many other ideas to really be sending your clients and to see in these classic three cities. So as you do send your clients back to Italy, and as they are maybe using the three main art cities as a hub to get to other places, just definitely keep that in mind. Marcello touched on Veneto and some other towns north of Venice. We love Treviso. We love the town of Oslo. Prosecco Road is beautiful with Palladio's villas. Villa Barbaro is a must-see. Verona, Vicenza. These are just lovely, lovely towns. And as the city of Venice gets crowded, you may consider some of these smaller towns outside that are just really short day trips that you can do. Same thing in Florence. Everyone wants to see the highlights, but you go to some of the smaller, wonderful churches like San Carmine with beautiful frescoes, or going up to the hills in Fiesole, Chianti. These are all short day trips from Florence. You really can go back to these cities and yet have an entirely different experience. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the more popular destinations that are gaining popularity in Italy. Marcello touched on Puglia. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel got married there at Borgo Egnazia a couple of years ago, and the popularity of Puglia has really skyrocketed over the last few years. Puglia offers so much diversity, from beautiful beaches, ruins, wine, authentic home cooking, and every year the accommodations are really improving. Maserias are these farmhouses that are very indicative of Puglia that have been turned into really lovely hotels. Some have beautiful grounds with olive trees. As Marcello mentioned, Puglia has over 50 million olive trees and does produce a lot of Italy's terrific olive oil. But Marcello, I do have to say, I like Sicilian olive oil as well. So I can't say that it's only Puglia. But Puglia is terrific. There is so much to do. The accommodations are terrific value versus some other regions such as the Amalfi Coast. And it's really an attractive vacation for families, for honeymooners. Active vacations are really great. You can really bike ride all in Puglia, and it's flat, so it's quite easy for any age group to handle. In terms of, you know, itineraries, definitely a week can be spent in Puglia, and what we like to recommend for our clients is really split that 7-day stay up in the Bari area, where they can explore Bari Vecchia, they can go to the beautiful seaside town of Polignano a Mare, they can visit the truly, such as the ones photographed here in Alberobello, wine in Loco Rotondo, Martina Franca. There are so many beautiful towns to explore in the first half of their stay. And then the remaining week stay is to move a little further south and go and explore Lecce. You have Otranto, you have great vineyards down there, and the waters around Gallipoli are just crystal clear and really beautiful. So for a week to split it up like that, I think that's a great itinerary to promote for your clients. And one of my favorite places in the whole world is Sardinia, which is featured on the next slide. That is just pristine. You don't really have a lot of tourists. Costa Smeralda and Porto Cervo is kind of the glitzy, you know, chic, I call it the Beverly Hills of Sardinia. But as you migrate over to the other coast and visit Alghero, which is another port town that has Spanish influence, it is so charming. There are wonderful beaches around, and really everything in between is just terrific to explore in Sardinia. We really promote that as a honeymoon destination, where, you know, our clients can just have these beautiful secluded beaches, to family trips where the hiking is fantastic. The culture and ruins that can be found with these ancient structures called nuraghi that are 3,000-4,000 years old. Really, that is such a great family destination, and the wines, of course, are terrific. Another great aspect about Sardinia that we like to add are, you know, private boat rides, whether they're around the Maddalena Islands. Tavola Island is this beautiful, you know, very remote island that's still owned by a king, so it's actually quite special to go there. And even sailing to Corsica and having kind of a whole entire different, you know, culture and experience there. So I'd really look into Sardinia. Any clients that aren't going to the Caribbean or are tired of going to the Caribbean or the British Virgin Islands, you really can start promoting Sardinia to those clients and get them into Italy. So now we turn to Sicily. Sicily, I think, is another phenomenal destination. After your clients, you know, explore the three main art cities, Sicily is another wonderful destination to send them to. I agree that at least a week, if not 10 days, can be spent in Sicily, really visiting the major cities such as Palermo, Taormina. I love the wines around Mount Etna. Our clients love exploring that, as well as even hiking up Mount Etna or doing a Jeep tour, going down to Siracusa, which is Greek influence. Going to the little fishing village of Marzanemi is really quaint, and then migrating down to the Baroque towns of Noto, Ragusa, and Morica. You really just have so much diversity just on the East Coast. I haven't even touched on the West Coast, but our philosophy at Luxury Italian Tours is really to give our clients a little something extra and not only send them to kind of the classic, you know, more popular destinations, because we really want them to explore so many aspects of Italy and just other destinations. Malta is a very short boat ride. It's about 2 hours from a port near Noto, and it's a completely different experience to really pair up with Sicily and really, you know, showcase something different to them, and of course send them back to Sicily to kind of explore the East Coast. But I think that is a really nice itinerary, even to resell to clients that, you know, maybe have already been to Sicily, to give them a little something more. So in addition to visiting, we talked about the popular cities. Unfortunately, they're just getting overrun. You've heard so many headlines in the news lately, particularly about, Venice. And I think the Venetians are at their wits' ends with tourists overrunning their cities. Getting your clients outside of the main cities and really going to some of the smaller towns just offers so much beauty, a real authentic experience. We had these clients just return about a week ago. They visited several small towns in the hills of near Agrigento, and we designed a whole slow food experience for them. So they are actually with a shepherd who has resurrected this rare population of goats. The cheeses were fantastic. They went to an olive oil farm. They just really experienced real local food made as, in the traditions that what Italy is really known for. So, always trying to incorporate, those little small towns outside of the major cities, or you can even do a whole itinerary of just some of the smaller towns. We did a great 10-day trip for our clients in Friuli, Venezia Giulia. That is about an hour north of Venice, and to really explore, some of the small towns, Treviso, Udine, Pordenone. They just had a wonderful, really authentic experience. So as Italy is just getting so popular and the cities are getting so crowded, definitely start to think small for a more authentic experience. We touched and talked about, the Amalfi Coast, and that is just absolutely so popular. But again, it's just getting so overrun. So there are other beautiful coastal areas beyond Capri, Positano, Amalfi, and Sorrento. This photo is of the Tuscan coastal region called Maremma, which is just beautiful. You can definitely find a little more deserted beaches. There are great wines there that are being made. Lots of, famous winemakers have bought properties over there, great restaurants. You can definitely go boating. Elba's not that far away. Giglio, there are just wonderful places as an alternative to the Amalfi Coast that again is getting quite overrun and just way too popular. We also love Liguria. Marcello mentioned Santa Margherita, Liguria, but we also love a small town next to it called Camoglie. To me, it's just a fairy tale little town with a seaside promenade, a great 5-star hotel in the area, and great proximity to the Cinque Terre. You can go to Portofino. You can even explore the Abbey of San Frutoso, which is this hidden abbey in a cove that is just really, really beautiful. So if you're looking for other coastal areas to send your clients, I would definitely consider Maremma in Tuscany as well as Liguria. So going to the next slide, Marcello, you are right. I absolutely love Piemonte. The wines that are produced there, Barolos, Barbarescos, are really, Italy's finest. But I think it is the new Tuscany. If your clients have gone to Tuscany and they just love those rolling hills, good food, wine, Piemonte definitely should be considered. The area has the highest concentration of Michelin star restaurants. So for your clients who are foodies, that is definitely a destination that you should be considering. Proximity is very close to Milan or Turin, and you can even add, visits to those cities in the itinerary that you design for them in Piemonte. But I really think it is the new Tuscany with terrific wine, white truffles in the fall. That is definitely, a very popular time that our clients like to go to Piemonte. So keep that in mind for your clients who've already gone to Tuscany. Festivals are a fantastic time and experience that are quite unique because Italy does try and preserve a lot of its traditions. We've got clients going to Assisi for the Festival of St. Francis on October 4th. That is going to be a very special and emotional festival in that city. We've had clients go to Andrea Bocelli's concert in his hometown in Laiatico. It was very dramatic performance with Andrea showing up on stage on a white horse with his grand entrance. So festivals are definitely something that, I recommend to incorporate into your itineraries. There are festivals in Italy all the time. They're always celebrating some saint or something over there that you can find something in every given month. So that's definitely a great special and emotional activity to add to your clients' experiences in Italy. So here are some of our happy clients, whether they're at a vineyard, whether we had someone propose to his girlfriend in a hot air balloon ride over the Tuscan hills. We've got our excited family jumping in front of the Colosseum. Italy is definitely a destination that is for all ages, and given its diversity, you really can be sending clients there multiple times. So that's what Marcello and I hope you do. And with that, I will turn it back over to Stephanie for any of your questions.
Yes, and thank you so much. That was amazing. I am just going to change my screen really quick, and I am going to start asking these questions. We have lots of really great questions in here that I am so excited to ask. So the first one that I'm going to start with is because these were asked during Marcello during your presentation. So what was the name of the day town from Milan that you mentioned, and then how do you spell that?
It's Bergamo. It's Bergamo. Bergamo.
Perfect. Thanks. That was one of them. And then also, LaDonna asked if you could repeat the name of the restaurant from and I might butcher this word, but the restaurant from Emilia Romagna region.
Oh, it's the Osteria Francescana. Osteria, well, Francescana. I don't know. It's Francescana. Francescana.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, I think that one, and we'll see if LaDonna, feel free to ask that question again if we didn't answer that one correctly. And the other question too, so this was another question too, and I think you both could answer it, but this was during yours, Marcello, is Wendy asked, what's the weather like in the Campagna region in the fall and winter months? And again, I hope I said that correctly, so let me know if not.
Well, in terms of, Kimberly can jump in here, but in terms of best time to visit, I like a lot October because you get the off-season prices and you still have good weather. So you can either go May, mid-May, or October. You avoid the crowds and you get the best weather. If you go September, it still is going to be crowded and expensive. It is still high season. Kimberly, don't you agree with me?
Yes, I absolutely do. I would also just add, I would recommend going in the earlier part of October. The seasonal hotels tend to, maybe start closing up in the latter half of October. The ferries get a little slower, Capri gets a little quieter, so that could be good, but you may be missing out on some experiences as well if you go too late in the season. And in winter months, I personally would not recommend it, just because I think the beauty of that area is just absolutely stunning during the season.
I agree.
Awesome. And this is a really good question. I'm glad this one came in because I remember, Kimberly, I remember you chatting about this a couple weeks ago. Do either of you notice that most clients who want custom trips, they don't want hotels, they're preferring Airbnbs instead? Have either of you kind of been coming across that?
Marcello, do you want me to take that first?
Yeah, sure.
Because we actually have a policy that we don't, book Airbnbs for our clients. You know, it may seem a little economical, but we've just had so much feedback that, you know, the experiences were not that positive. Maybe the air conditioner was just not so, you know, cool during the summer months. Towel changes weren't great. I had an experience where personally I ran out of toilet paper on Christmas Day. Good luck finding anything open on Christmas Day to replenish. So that is just not an experience that we actually, you know, really promote. And to be honest with you, I have someone now in a very nice villa in Lake Como, and this my client's 87-year-old mother fell, broke her leg. She needed surgery in Como. She was just transferred to a hospital in Milan to recover. If we did not have someone on staff, I don't know how they would have handled that situation.
I agree, and I might add that as well. You can't control. I mean, you need the someone to deliver the key, pick up the key, give assistance. I mean, anything that you need. Of course, we have seen a big growth in people asking about and booking. Say, oh, I got my Airbnb. I don't need hotels and everything. You say, okay, good luck, but you're traveling to a different country where you don't speak the language, where you don't, you know the local culture and how everything works. It's not like in the US that you can deal pretty much with everything. So we have this policy, same as Kimberly as well. So same thing. I share the same opinion.
And just to add, Stephanie, you know, the experience is in Italy is should really be fully taken advantage of. And when you are on your own in a country that you are not familiar with, even getting a simple, you know, recommendation for local restaurants or getting a taxi, you don't have any support. So you know, think you're saving a little bit on the accommodations, but you're really losing out on a lot of experiences that maybe, you know, your hotel concierge, your trip planner can really help you with.
Great.
But you're not going to, you know, have that.
Yeah, that's great insight on that. Another question here. Oh, and I had a couple questions where people were asking for slide information, and we're going to be sending out a replay after this, and then we'll also build a transcript out of it, which I think will really help, and we'll kind of highlight some of the things that Kimberly and Marcello's talked about. So, and also too, somebody asked at the beginning about contact information, and you will find Kimberly and Marcello's contact information in the email after this as well. So we'll provide you with all of that. Now, the other question that I had, we had some more, just all of these are just so interesting. So one of them, the first one is, what area is great during December?
So I actually am going this Christmas again with my family. We usually spend Christmas time in Rome with my family, but I just love, of course, I love Rome during Christmas. I love Milan a lot, the lights of Milan, the markets, you know, it's just amazing. New Year's Eve in Venice, it's beautiful. I think like the big cities can offer a lot during Christmas time. And of course, you know, if you can stay longer, then you can visit the small towns and small markets. But I would stick to the big cities like Rome, Milan, and Venice.
And just to add to that, I completely agree. I've spent Christmas and New Year's in all three of the art cities. And if you do have clients that are entertaining, you know, a Christmas holiday, Rome is fantastic. There are fireworks, you know, right from 11:30 to midnight over the Vatican or over the Colosseum. They change the location. New Year's Eve in Venice to see the fireworks over the Grand Canal is just really, really spectacular. And I would definitely stick to the larger cities, because some of the smaller towns, you know, they do either close up, or, you know, so not every hotel is going to be open, but to go there to experience the Christmas markets are definitely fun. But in the evenings, it could be a little more of a ghost town. So I would stick to the main cities with day trips in the small towns.
Great. And another question here is, what are the best places to visit with children between the ages of 5 and 12 years old?
Kimberly, you can go first.
Sure. Okay. So we do a lot of family trips. So, again, the major art cities, Rome, Florence, Venice, what we like to add to for kids, for any families that are traveling with kids, is we have, artisan and a little more arts and crafts to do in each of those three cities. So in Rome, we have a mosaics class. That's a great primer for, Pompeii or some other sites that they will see. In Venice, we have mask making. Kids love that. They get to make 2 paper mache masks. They decorate it with glitter and feathers and sparkles to bring home. For some of the teenagers, we've done family gondola lessons and have paired up, maybe the father and daughter with the mother and son to have gondola ride races. Pasta making, I think, is a super fun family activity that you can do, in Rome, Florence, and Venice. Pizza making in Rome or in Naples is a fun activity to do with kids. So I really do think Italy offers, especially the 3 main cities, a great destination for kids. But as I said in my presentation, I love Sardinia as well as a family destination. There's hiking, there's biking, there's boating, there's a lot of activities, not too many museums, which kids like to do in that destination. And Puglia is great. It's flat for biking, so that could keep kids busy as well.
Yes, I 100% agree with Kimberly. You stick to the big cities to keep the kids busy. And I think a mix of, a little bit of culture, kids activities, and then maybe a coastal town would be the best itinerary for kids.
Great. And another question too, this is for both of you. So someone asked, do you both offer travel agent incentive programs?
Well, we do. Yes, the answer, yes, we do.
And Luxury Italian Tours focuses on custom trips for individuals. So I would say we do not. Sorry, guys.
But that's okay. It's so much knowledge that they'll have. And another question this kind of tags off of it too is, so Denise asks, generally, how do your relationships with vendors, so your restaurants and hotels, work in Italy?
Is that for me? Sorry.
Yes, for both of you. So really just kind of knowing how you partner with those different vendors there.
Okay, so we have built over the last 10 years our network of local vendors and our own vendors that, some the big cities, we have our own guides, own drivers. We don't outsource anything to another DMC, especially like, IC agents or agencies that, in Sicily, I'm going to use one DMC and Puglia, I'm going to use another DMC. So we cover the whole country. We spend a lot of years traveling and sourcing the experiences and the people we work with. And in terms of, I think it's important to be transparent in terms of compensation. We usually get paid, when we talk about hotels, we have negotiated rates with the hotels and the contracts. Since we sell only Italy, that allows us to have like a nice contract with hotels and enables us and our partners, the travel agencies, to make money and still sell to the client for like the same price they see online. And then for the drivers and guides, they're pretty much they work exclusive with us, so they are like part of our company. So this is pretty much how we operate.
And for luxury Italian tours, we're a little different since, well, we're similar and we're different. We're similar in the sense that we do not outsource any services to people that we don't know. I've personally met all the guides. I've interviewed them. Same with the drivers, and we do visit hotels. So we do have negotiated rates that are pertain to us, that are confidential. But we really understand who our clients are, and there are certain hotels that we recommend for honeymooners that we would not recommend for families. So we don't really just have blanket hotel ideas, for example, for our clients, since they are so different, their tastes are different, their needs are different. So we're much more customized even from that level. In terms of restaurants, same situation. We're not going to, recommend the restaurant that we would to a family, that we would to, let's say, a honeymooner or an older couple that may want some more fine dining. We understand their budgets, how much they would like to spend, what type of environment they want to be at. Not everyone wants kind of to experience a more modern, creative restaurant. Some want that traditional trattoria. So, in our interview process with our clients, we're understanding what exactly they want, and we're tailoring, everything from even our guide, hotels, and restaurant recommendations to them.
Great. And so we have time for, I'm going to try to get 2 more questions in because they're going to be a little more broad. So the first one is from Carol, and she said, in your opinion, what are the top 3 most romantic places to stay on a honeymoon? So I know, Kimberly, you mentioned Sardinia as one of them, but for both of you, what would you say are the top 3 most romantic places?
Marcello, do you want me to take that first, since we do recommend and have luxury Italian honeymoons? So, I really think romance is all over Italy. I will say that for starters. So you can find something phenomenal everywhere. Sardinia, I would say, is really romantic. I do enjoy the Amalfi Coast as well for honeymooners, but instead of going to a Positano or even a Capri, I do like the little more remote island of Ischia. I think that is phenomenal, and the property there is the Mezzatorre is really absolutely phenomenal. You don't have to leave, and I would even look to other islands, Elba or even Sicily, and we love the Aeolian Islands off the coast of Sicily and the island of Salina for honeymooners. There's a wonderful wine resort where, again, you don't have to leave. You've got wonderful meals. You've got couples massages on the premises, boating, and it's just, you're not going to find a lot of American tourists. So I would say Sardinia, the Aeolian Islands, and also the island of Ischia.
Again, I agree with you. I would add that for honeymoons, we usually try to plan a mix of a relaxing time, especially like at the start of the trip. You came from the wedding or the planning and everything, you just want to relax. So a place like Sardinia or the Amalfi Coast or the Tuscan coast, those are like the most popular ones. And then we recommend a little bit of the countryside, with a nice view, just relax, looking at, the mountains and tasting amazing wine. So I would say a mix. I like a lot Tuscany for honeymooners, with a mix of any coastal town that Kimberly mentioned. So.
Great. Yeah, it sounds amazing. And one last question, and I hope this one's not too hard to decide, because I was originally going to ask you, what is your one favorite place to send travelers? But I know that's really hard to come up with, especially because there's different types of travel people are doing. But is there one place that you've recently been seeing just kind of take off? A lot of travelers are asking about it. A lot of travelers are wanting to go there. Is there a place that's kind of sticking out right now with that, or a region in Italy?
Marcello, do you want to take that first? I've got my selection.
All right. So my favorite place to send people is Puglia. The reason is because it is something different to see in Italy. The hotels there are just outstanding, and it is everybody that that visit the region. They come back and they say we had the best time. Visit Matera, visit Fasano, visit Lecce. I mean, all those places are just unbelievable. So we don't see, it's not the most popular destination for sure, right? So especially for not like first timers, they stick to the common routes. But if you've been to Italy once and you want to go back and you say, hey, what to do now? And my first choice is always Puglia.
And I love Puglia, but I'm really loving Sardinia as well because of the diversity and the ease of travel within the region and the accommodations. I really do think you get lovely high-end accommodations and mid-range, and given the diversity of activities, food, wine, sea, culture, I like that as well.
Amazing. That sounds so great. I know everybody here is about ready to book a flight and head over there. There's so much to do, so much to see. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. Otherwise, we could keep going on and on. But I do just want to mention one more time that we will be sending out an email right after this. So that way you can get the recording. If you have follow-up questions for Marcello or Kimberly, their contact information's on there. But I just want to say thanks for joining us. But thank you so much, Marcello and Kimberly, for taking time to really share your expertise and knowledge with us. This has been really great.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you all for participating. Thank you, Kimberly and Travefy, Stephanie. This was great.
Thank you so much for allowing us to share our passion of Italy with all of you. So thanks, Stephanie, and thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, Marcello.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.